Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry, and today we are looking at carriers, and I have actually somebody on the line here who probably forgot more about carriers than I will ever know. This is DeathFromAbove.
Yeah, hello, how are you doing?
Good, thanks, and you?
By the way, before you go too far, that's the Ranger gameplay, it's not the Graf gameplay. So you wanted to start with yours or mine?
Sorry, no, this is the wrong one actually. Yeah, no, let's start with yours. Yes, okay. So the first game we're looking at is you playing against.
Yes.
And you're probably going to tell us a little bit about how this one went, and I'll try to learn from it.
Well, I do make a couple of mistakes, and then indeed
that's the good thing, right?
Voilà.
So
it's a decent defeat. Let's call it this way. Yeah. So it's a decent defeat, and there's always something to learn from a defeat as well. So yeah, let's talk a bit about it. It's against a premium. It's against a Graf, and you see that the rest of the enemy team. It's not like the first gameplay we had, where it was just all AA all over the place. Here it's just an invitation to be set on fire and flooded. So really, that's the ideal matchmaking for a Ranger.
And it's Haven.
That's the thing you want to get into. Voilà.
And it's Haven, and you're on South Spawn, so likely half your team's going to go B Cup in Tier 7.
Yeah, to be honest, I have no idea what's going to happen. Now we're recording this live, so we should be very clear. So we're probably going to miss a couple of things, but yeah,
it's just live.
That's just life. So I see that he's sending his fighters my way, and I mean, I'm not particularly looking to engage them. I just want, I'm just going to let them go by, because a Graf Zeppelin, what you want to do against a Graf Zeppelin is you want to not do that. You want to get to the bombers. That's the first fuck up. So you really want to get to the bombers, and especially the torpedo bombers, because you only have to take one out of the game. And he's actually losing a pretty substantial chunk of his firepower. So obviously my fighters don't stand a chance against its fighter squadron, but yeah, the thing is it's in the Rangers. I'm going to get fighters back quite soon, and to be honest, yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I still have like 4 squadrons left in my hangar, so let's see if I can actually get a strike on that DD. Seems to be traveling in a nice, straight, predictable pattern, and yeah, I have no idea if I'm going to hit him, to be honest. Nah, only one. So yeah, that wasn't too good. But yeah, you see that he's trying to torp me, but it's usually the last thing that you want to be doing, because it's never a reliable strategy, especially at Tier 7, where you don't really have CVs that have the ability to do that. And this time I get it just about right, and we're going to have the dogfight right on top of my CV, and I should be okay. So that's good. We've made amends for our first mistake, but we still managed to almost completely miss the DD. And that's actually interesting, because I'm following my team, but I'm going to attack the Mackensen at A. The reason for which I'm doing that, and that's not the best practice, I would say, because you're just wasting like 20 seconds of travel time doing that. And but I want to give as much chance as I can to my own Mackensen, knowing that if he's actually able to delete him, he might actually go and cap A. So I want to protect him as much as I can, and I want to really try to even the odds a bit, and because there, if we can remove that battle cruiser, then we might actually get the flank. And so there, what you do is you see that it's just damage con the fire. So we're not going to immediately send the torpedo bombers. We're going to wait a little bit until the damage con is actually finished with his cooldown. And there you go. We're going to strike with the torpedo bombers. Now I'm fairly confident that we might actually be able to flood him, but yeah, it's not a guaranteed thing with the Ranger. So you really have to try to do that as much as you can, but it's not a guaranteed thing. So yeah, I'll take that.
And you probably also don't want to attack into that AA death ball up in the north, because they were all bunched up a minute ago.
Yeah, I'm going to leave them alone for the moment. So, but yeah, I mean the enemy CV is also trying to finish my Mackensen, so he's probably seeing what's going to happen. But yeah, let's see if I can actually Yeah, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm going to leave my fighters there for the moment and see if I can remove another fighter squadron from the Graf, because again, that's really the name of the game when you're playing against the Graf Zeppelin. You want to take as many squadrons as you can as quickly as possible, but that doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice the protection of your fleet for that. So, I mean, the role of a fighter, it's to shoot down enemy bombers, and that's how you should be playing them. So baiting, it's nice, it's good for the it's good for the self-esteem, but it's not necessarily good for winning games, and that's what you see me doing there. So it's a Graf Zeppelin. If I can remove one of his bomber squadrons, I'm going to have a fairly easy game. It's going to have a lot more issues dealing damage. There you saw me make a mistake. You saw me attack that battleship right after he was set on fire. I should have maybe pulled out a bit. That's a much better decision. Because the Graf, I think, it's just been set on fire. Looking at that footage, yeah, it's on the other side of the map, but this one, yeah, it's not going to go very well if I leave the battle cruiser and the destroyer alone against the Graf. Yeah, it's already not going very well.
Yeah,
so if I can actually
that's a cruiser.
Fire, then yeah, it's actually, is he going to take him out? It might actually work. I'm not sure. I'm not so sure, to be honest. Yeah, that's it's not bad. So we might actually win that. So it's not bad. 550 to 507. Yeah, amazing. But yeah, if I can take out that DD there, then we might actually have a good shot at winning that battle, because it's going to be fairly annoying for my battleship. And so yeah, you see me get into position, predictable pattern, and yeah, bam. That's where I miss it, I think. No, it's actually not. It's not a bad strike. It's actually a fairly good strike. Yeah, 3 torpedoes, fine. Yeah, I'm not sending bombers against destroyers, to be honest. I'm not sending bombers against them, because yeah, you're not going to land as many hits, and you will end up not being, I would say, fairly capable of playing the fire and flooding game. So I'm saving my torpedo bombers for destroyers, and usually it works out quite well. So we're doing quite well, 670 to 6. No.
Yeah, it's the caps, because the enemy team's been holding, I think, 3 of the caps.
But you see, so sometimes the decision to support the team at A, even though it was on your side of the map, was actually a good one, because those are the only caps left that we have. So if we're still standing a chance right now, it's because of that. But unfortunately, the first salvo I missed against that Fusion, that's where it's coming back to bite me. Voilà. That's where it's coming back to bite me. So
yeah, you're going to lose that Fuso. And unless you can get the Fusion killed.
And that Fusion, I'm always going to attack him from the other side, because I know that it's certainly taking a look at that battleship, but voilà, that's the mistake that's costing me the game. If I had put that strike, if I had prepared that strike a little bit better, then we would have won this on points. But yeah. It is what it is.
You still wouldn't have, because you've just lost the Fusion, and they've lost the Fuso, and that thing's worth more points than a destroyer. So you probably still would have. Maybe it would have been close. Yeah,
it would have been quite close, because we do have the 4 bases almost. But I mean, yeah. So yeah, a couple of interesting lessons there. Good decisions, sometimes bad execution, and then you see who gets the MVP. So.
That generally tells you something if you end up being on top of the team like that.
Yeah.
But that's just mid-tier gameplay, right?
Well, it is what it is. Interesting lessons, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I probably would have fared worse, honestly, because I totally wouldn't have managed to bait the Graf's fighters. Okay, shall we have a look at mine then? And if you think that was not too great, then wait until you see what I'm up to.
Okay.
So this is me in the Ranger against an enemy Ranger, but it's bottom tier, and Friar's Lantern is a map that I actually really like.
Okay. The first thing you take a look at is the composition of your team. So do you have any ship that's good at setting fires, for example?
Right. I was totally not paying attention to that, because I do have a Wichita that might be able to do it, and that thing's actually got some decent AA.
Wait. What your audience doesn't know is that you actually called that recording overall panic. So it's the first time we watch it together. I'm not sure what we're going to see.
Yes. So at the beginning, I'm like, okay, there are 2 destroyers. I'm going to go scout and see if I capture the enemy fighters or do something useful. You know, that's general sort of thing. So it's like, okay, let's pull back the fighters, and that's probably way too early.
IF and the Wichita, by the way, close to one another. So A is probably going to where you're going to focus your attention. So really, you're sending an invitation to the destroyer.
Yes.
So if voilà, so he's starting to turn, etc. So he's being nice to you. This one is being nice to you.
Yes.
So
he didn't have to take those torpedoes.
Voilà.
But I'm trying to intercept. So I'm trying to do what you said to intercept actually the enemy airstrike.
Voilà. That should be your priority. Yes. Which CV are we up against, by the way? Was it another Ranger?
Another Ranger, yes. So
okay.
The team's nicely split. Although what worries me a little is the gap in the middle, because there was a Kagero and I don't have eyes on him, so I don't know if he's going to come for me, which is why I'm turning a little bit south here.
And there, what I would have done is actually turn north, because I knew that Wichita and certainly the Black Trap IF would have definitely set a number of fires on the enemy team, and that's something, and especially on that Bismarck, and that's something that I would have been able to follow up with the Ranger quite easily.
Yeah, so there you see it. The Bismarck's already on fire, double fire, Damacon, and now I should have had dive bombers up here and set triple permafires. Yes, exactly.
Wait. Voilà. So that's how you do it. Huh? So that's really how the name of the game with these things. And even much more with the Russian CVs, because those are exclusively like have to be played like that. So that's
and there you see something else.
But you see, you forgot your CV and you ended up going in the right direction eventually.
Yes, that was purely by accident, and now I'm seeing the Bismarck on permafire and sending it. But I literally forgot to straighten out the ship, and it turned around on me, which ended up being the right thing. Yes.
Oh no, that's good. It's pure skills, all part of the plan.
So we got a permaflood on the Bismarck.
That's amazing. Voilà, that's amazing. So fire and flood, that's an easy 10k for you. So voilà.
So yeah, that's actually going surprisingly well, and it might have even gone better if I had focused on it initially. But now we actually managed to finish off the Bismarck, which just leaves the Cherbourg there.
Very good, and the Cherbourg, it's not going to be a match for your bombers, to be honest. So it's a fairly easy target as well. So that's good.
Unfortunately, that Kagero is still out there somewhere. But
yes.
Right now I'm trying to go after the Cherbourg and try to secure the...
If I remember, he was something like south of the island, where the Cherbourg is. So it could be going for you.
Yes.
Because you have to keep that somewhere in your head, at the back of your head, and where those DDs are. And if they're too far away from the action, it's okay, leave them alone. But once they're actually getting... but there you go. It's somewhere below C.
Yeah, it's actually...
it's on the other side.
It's actually on the other side. And the enemy carrier is managing to just go after the Massa rather than trying to... Oh no, the Hipper died. So now we're actually down 2 ships at this point, because my team's just died on me. And I'm trying to support the Gneiser now in the north and make something happen. And I'm feeling like at this point, okay, I need to move again. I have managed to get the enemy fighters over the Massachusetts, which was okay.
Yeah. But the Gneiser should be fine. So wait, voilà, there you go. So that's good against the Cherbourg at short range. That was an easy win for him. The question is, which one do we go for now? Because we've got the DD, which is probably there. It's going to be the most annoying target for your team there, because a battleship on his own against a Kagero, it's not going to end up very well. And the mains is also getting a little bit too close, but you're not going to be able to delete him right away. It's just full HP, so you might want to spot the DD first.
Yeah, Mainz actually has relatively decent AA as well, as far as I remember. Plus, there's a Helena down there as well. So I'm trying to go after the Mainz, because that's the one I can see. I don't know where the Kagero is. I'm trying to find him with fighters.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. He's on C.
Yeah, he's on C. Yeah. So he's good. Okay, it's not going to be... Oh, that's a good situation. The Gneiser is actually fairly close to the enemy CV, so if you can keep it spotted and prevent him to go away, you might actually have a shot at winning this. So
And my biggest problem right now is, well, I've got my fighters captured, but my biggest problems are these two, because that's a full health lightning down there, and that's a mines coming after me. So this is the point where I'm completely panicking. I was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die.
No, but I thought it was a Kagero. Did I miss anything? Or maybe the Kagero was already deleted.
I think the
but
Kagero
lightning
died. Yeah.
Yeah, because the lightning, forget it. It's very, very complicated to be hitting those. So it's really an invitation to wasting your time. It's very, very complicated. Unless they're busy chasing somebody else, or I'm pretty sure that they really don't pay attention to what I'm doing, I'm not going to bother against the lightning, to be honest.
So at this point, I run into an island. I'm spotted. There's a mines and a lightning coming for me, and I figure, okay, screw the planes. I'm a go and use my guns here because I'm not getting out of this one alive anyway. Unfortunately, our Massachusetts, who would have been really useful in intercepting that light cruiser, has decided to go after the enemy carrier, and is completely out of the game at this point. So it's just mines versus myself here.
Yeah, but it's not that bad because you're still full HP. So in 1 minute, I'm not sure we can actually take
anymore.
you down that easily. Yeah,
but I get to use my guns, at this point. And just run away.
and try torpedo range.
Yeah.
If you had hit that salvo, you would have been fine. Honestly, you would have been just fine.
Yes, that's where the panic comes in. Where I've literally, and now the Massachusetts is starting to support me, but it's a little late. Yeah. And
wow. From the distance, that thing wouldn't hit an elephant in a hallway. So
absolutely. And I've just lost my engines, so I'm just trying to send the dive bombers out. And the mines is finishing me off. So yes, I could have probably pulled this off if I hit that last torpedo strike, but it was a couple seconds.
It's a bit like my gameplay. It comes down to one torpedo strike.
Yes.
And you see, and that's it's why I was telling you a bit earlier that and every CV as of tier 7 is overpowered. So because the ability that you have to control the game, it's just ridiculously insane without taking any risk, by the way, because you were like only 1 minute before the end of the game, you really got into trouble when those guys decided to chase you. But for the rest, for me, it went quite well.
So the other thing I could have done at the end, when I noticed that that the mines and the lightning were going after me, was just to run away. And again, this was sort of what I was trying to do to get north of the island. But then I ran into the island because I wasn't paying attention because I was busy controlling planes and if I had managed that.
Running away, it's fine because the lightning indeed would never have been to catch you. It's super slow.
Yeah.
Those things have problems catching a Shokaku. So and the mains essentially, if he has to travel in a straight line to get you, then it's an easy target. It's a really easy target. So it could have worked very well. The island indeed decided to get in your way.
Yeah, who put that island there? Seriously. But it goes to show that I think watching the replay, there were actually a lot of opportunities. When I was playing it, I was just outright panicking and thought, okay, we had lost at this point. So it's a mindset thing as well to kind of recognize that you still have these opportunities, and that's where my lack of experience with carriers comes in. That I'm not really sure of myself as to how much damage I can actually do in those things.
Yeah, but you should not be too hard on yourself because no, but let's be honest. It's easy to talk about it 1 month after the fact, because we both recorded our gameplays 1 month ago.
Yeah.
And now we look at it and we say, oh yeah, you missed that salvo. Yeah, but of course you missed that salvo because you're also looking at 20,000 other things at the same time.
Exactly.
Because we were talking about target selection, etc., but we were not paying attention to fighters, for example, and we could have done that video only talking about fighters, and we could have kept talking for like 10-15 minutes. So
that's why we make these videos to learn something. Yeah. And as you can see, we all learned something on it. Anyway,
what would be the takeaway from you?
So the takeaway from me from this well, first of all, Ranger is a plane is a carrier that I can actually control the planes on, because like you said, it's only got one torpedo wing and it's got one fighter wing. So this is actually fun. And I think the best thing that I can do is do what we just did and kind of record my battles, review them, and think about what could I have done better. So funnily enough, I have played mostly non-carriers over the years, but funnily enough, this is exactly what I did in the early days when I was playing other ships, like if I was playing battleships or cruisers, because I record so many of my gameplays and I get to review them afterwards for reviews. Oftentimes I just look at it and think about, okay, what could I have done differently? So this is the best way to learn, to be fair.
Yeah, and I mean it's one of the perks because we tend to have the habit of recording everything we do in the game.
Exactly.
So that's one of the perks that we get.
But
we don't get to enjoy it nearly as much, but we.
So
and we look at ourselves and we said, "Oh, okay, I really did that. Yeah, I just did that. Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, congratulations, DFA."
It's good. It's good for me to see that I'm not the only one making this kind of misplays and.
Yeah. You know of course not. And the thing is, if you at the end of the game, when you look at the scoreboard and you see the enemy CV stats, you can actually decide that you've had a fairly good game for yourself.
Exactly.
It's just that in a CV, you're kind of expected to carry because you have the power. No, but I mean, you have the power to be hitting every single target on the map. There's no restriction.
And it's called a carrier, right?
Voilà. It's called a carrier for a reason. And the cruiser is trying to run away, setting up concealment. Let's just send a squadron his way. And that's it. Concealment becomes useless.
Yeah.
Anything is low on health, you can finish it. So it's really how would you say it? It just has too much power. And so when you miss a salvo or you misjudge something, you think, okay, shit, I could have won that battle. But I mean, yeah, it's not how would you say it? It's not. It's certainly too strong as a class. But it can compensate for a lot of mistakes from your team. But we're always trying to see the one thing that went wrong instead of looking at all the things that went actually quite well, because you had a very good game there.
Yeah, in retrospect as well. I thought actually I did pretty badly, but in looking back and analyzing it, some things actually went okay. And if I can iron out these sort of mistakes, then
Of course, and looking at it, I mean, overall, I think the panic set in at 1 minute when you saw those two.
Yes.
When you saw the lightning and the mains going for you, but for the rest of the game, it was relatively well controlled and concretely you managed to pick up the right targets. Like, okay, this one has been set on fire. I'm going to flood him, etc., and went quite well. So it's just details. It's just details in the end of the game.
I would say lesson learned is that if I can do actually reasonably well in one of those things, then probably everybody can. So don't be too afraid of playing carriers, especially American ones. They're actually decently easy. Yeah,
honestly, they're your best bet to start learning CVs.
Yeah.
There's no better line to start grinding CVs. So and my recommendation is to play the independents until you can really carry, like I would say, like 25%, 30% of your battles. That's where you know that you're ready to move up and start meeting the more annoying TVs and the more annoying players.
Absolutely. Anyway, thanks a lot for joining and for analyzing and going through that with me. And I'm actually feeling a lot more comfortable now about my carrier abilities. So maybe I'll do a review series of carriers. You never know.
Do that. Certainly do it. There's a new line today. So the Russian CVs were introduced today. So
yeah, I've actually tried a little bit, and it's a really interesting line. So I might do some more videos on those.
So far, I haven't played the tier 10 yet. I've played the tier 6 and the tier 8, and it has a very, very interesting playstyle. And so I've already got some footage for them. I'm not sure when I'm going to cover them, but yeah, it's interesting. I think they're interesting. So they're not overpowered. They're not super strong, but they're interesting enough to really be to be worse, I would say. It's not going to be your first line. That's clear. Don't do that.
Probably not, yeah.
Voilà, don't do the Japanese, don't do the Russians, but it can be quite fun even for decent CV players. So I think it's well, I still have to take a look at the tier 10, but because I heard that this one was a little bit too strong, but I don't know. I have to try it for myself and see for myself. So yeah, it was good fun. It was good fun talking to you.
Same.
Good fun reviewing those.
And if you're watching, make sure to catch the other 2 battles, one from me and one from him, on Death from Above's channel. I'll leave a link in the description.
Yeah, we're going to put links in the video description. So voilà. I will also mention that in mine. So okay, well, let's do that. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, Terry, thank you for the invite. And
thank you for joining. That's been great.
Yes.
We should do that again at some point.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay. You have a good evening, and I'll go and eat some breakfast now.